We're back.
I flipped
Right.
it, yeah.
All right. To the Wire
Okay, we're
Sports is officially back. We will be giving you weekly episodes starting now. It's January 19th. This is our first episode of 2024. Boys, how does it feel to be back?
Feels great to be back. You know, this room's been lonely without you guys.
I appreciate that, kid. I appreciate that. And you know what? We're just going to hop right back into it. Enough of the chit chat. Let's go straight into college and pro. Basketball is now in full swing. We didn't get to do any real coverage of that during our last few episodes. So just to hit on some big headlines. Obviously, the college game, volunteer basketball is doing well. Not too well, though.
I mean, we say the same thing every year.
They're doing pretty well, boys. 6 overall. Dalton Connect's playing out of his mind.
Can't wait for that Sweet 16 loss.
Yeah,
Can't
regular
wait for it.
season Rick.
Yeah, regular season Rick.
All right.
Let's go to what everyone really cares about. Let's go to the NBA basketball. The West is in full competition right now as the Timberwolves have emerged from the dead of last season to be at the top of the West, followed by the Young Thunder, Nikola Jokic, and the Nuggets, and as well as the Clippers, who have had a mid-season comeback. I believe they've won like 5 out of 6 of their last games, playing really well right now. Killian, who do you think is going to come up on top of this Western Conference?
You know, it's really hard for me to bet against the Nuggets, even though they're still a 3 seed at this point in the season. But Timberwolves are just rolling, and I thought they've had the 1 seed almost the whole year. I thought they were going to give it up sooner. I feel like they shouldn't still have it at this point, but they do. So I really do think they're going to keep it up. I don't know how that's going to translate into the playoffs, but I think the Timberwolves will get the 1 seed because they are just rolling right now. They've been playing well all season, and they're clicking. And it's weird, no one's really talking about them either, but I think they will get the 1 seed. Keep going.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, Killian, is that offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And the Timberwolves are the case of a team that just has so many weapons.
That's true.
On defense.
That's true.
And that, at the end of the day, and I really like their chances going into the playoffs. Now, who I think is going to get the 1 seed? Russell, I think the Thunder are going to prevail and get that 1 seed. I mean, we were just watching the Thunder Lakers game the other night, and
Sure were.
I mean, it's hard to describe why they're good, but they're just good. They have so much chemistry on the court. They just get it done. I mean,
And with the
I
trade
don't know.
booming too for a big 7-footer, hopefully we can get a guy like Larry Markkinen in on that team with a big trade. Obviously they've got troves and troves of first round picks, but it seems like anybody, there's like six people on that team, 6-7 guys on that team that can give you 20 every given night.
Yeah.
And then Shea obviously is scoring 30 a game. Chet's gonna win Rookie of the Year. In the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, probably won't win though. Jalen Williams, J-Dub, scoring like the quietest 20 every single game. Not enough people talking about him. Giddey has set his feet back. I believe he had 20 points last night. Innocent Giddey.
Innocent
Giddey.
Officially
Except the NBA.
NBA still.
The NBA is
investigating.
investigating him now. They're starting their investigation
I think they
right
should.
now.
Even though they've said
They
charges
should investigate.
been dropped, yeah.
Giddey's
How about-
innocent.
I'll say one thing too. How about the Clippers? Because
Clippers are
we
very good.
did hit on the Clippers on our last episode. It was right after the trade,
After the trade was over.
and they had lost, I think, maybe 4 in a row
They were
Yeah,
bad.
they
after
were
the Harden
bad.
trade, and we were saying maybe you can't win with an NBA or like an NBA All-Star style team. But obviously that's not been the case, as like you said, they've had truly a mid-season turnaround.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, on paper, this team shouldn't work. I mean, this team should work. In practice, we've seen that this kind of all-star team doesn't
Yeah.
work. I don't know how they are working.
Mhm.
They are 4 ball-dominant scorers.
Yeah.
I don't watch the Clippers that much, but
No.
I guess they're kind of getting into their role. But, I mean, they've been on a tear since midseason. Because I remember after they lost 4 or 5 with Harden, like, they were hovering around the 8th seed, maybe not even in the playoffs. So the fact that they're up at the 4 means they've been playing really well. So the West is just wide open right now. There's a lot of surprises, a lot of shockers.
Not a traditional,
Yeah, no.
not a
There's
traditional
so many,
year for
and
the
then you
West.
look, the 5 seeds, the Pelicans.
Yeah.
You know, the top 5. I mean, that whole conference, it's just weird this year. And then you look at the Lakers and the Warriors are out of the playoffs.
Yeah, let's get into that. Lakers, Warriors, and Suns, as well as the Heat if you want to go into the Eastern
Yeah.
Conference, but they are all not playing well right now.
Yeah, I think the Suns are the 8th seed, and I think the Suns probably have some of the highest expectations of any team in the league from their fan base after the Doncic disaster a couple of years ago. What was that, last year? No, it was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago, yeah.
And then they got knocked out last year.
Yeah.
Losing the title. But yeah, I mean, you can't be an 8 seed.
No.
I mean,
Not when you got KD and Devin Booker and
No,
Bradley
no.
Beal all on the same team.
can't
There's
be
no
an 8 seed.
excuse for that.
And that team honestly reminds me more of the Nets than the Clippers because, like the Nets when they had KD, Kyrie, and Harden, they all couldn't get on the floor. I think Booker, Beal, and Durant have played less than 48 minutes together on the floor.
Yeah.
They can't stay healthy. So I guess that's the main problem, but even still, even if you only have 2 of those guys, you should be better than 8 seed.
I'll say this
Yeah.
right now. They will lose in the first round or the play-in, and then KD will be traded in the summer.
He likes to win.
And then, but here's another thing.
He chokes. I mean, he doesn't do anything on teams he gets put on.
Honestly, I think the team that I'm most not necessarily surprised about, and I won't even say glad, but just kind of like I don't know what the word is for it. The Warriors.
I was
Struggling and saying they would trade. We got a report yesterday saying that they would trade anyone on that team, on that roster, except for Stephen Curry.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
Crazy.
You can't trade Curry.
You can't trade Curry, but then at the same time, who's gonna want Klay Thompson? Who's gonna want Draymond Green at this point in their careers?
Yeah, because it's all guys that they've been dominant at the Warriors throughout their careers, and I don't see them fitting into other offenses necessarily well.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, they built their whole careers have been at Golden State, and they've found a way to win 4 championships with those.
Which
pieces.
I'd love to see that too. I'd love to see guys that stick with
Yeah.
a franchise. their
Do
whole
love a
career.
loyal guy. And then, but here's the thing. I mean, the one thing that we also have to talk about is how bad the Warriors have been at drafting recently.
Yeah.
Just no real first-round picks who have been contending on this roster. Obviously, Wiseman is pretty much
Yeah,
gone.
Wiseman was.
Poole was good, but that's the only
Poole
guy I
was
can
solid.
think
Poole
of
was solid.
draft pick for the last 5 years.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Obviously, they haven't had many, but still.
yeah, looking back to Wiseman, you thought he was gonna be that center that came in and was like, oh my gosh, we have
You thought he was
2 of the
gonna
best
be
shooters of all
completely
time, and then we have
superstar.
this young James Wiseman out of college. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna be right back for another title. They were right back for another title, but Wiseman played no significant role at all.
No.
So yeah, it might be downfall.
I think it's just overall. I think it's just weird seeing that as these guys are getting older, it's not clicking anymore. And I think our generation, we're so used to seeing the Warriors being such a dominant team.
Yeah.
Even if they're not a championship contender, they're still a dominant team.
Yeah. One last thing I want to hit on regarding the Clippers. Kawhi. They're looking hot right now. They're looking really good. They look poised to be a title contender if they keep playing like this the next couple weeks. So that being said, it's early, but if Kawhi wins 3 rings with 3 different teams, where do you think that puts him all time?
It's so
Where is Kawhi land all time?
Yeah, that Spurs ring. I think a lot of people forget about it. I forget about it a lot.
And he did play a key
And
factor in that Spurs team,
Finals
too.
MVP on the Spurs. Finals MVP on the
Yeah,
Spurs.
really?
Finals
Yeah.
MVP on the Raptors.
His defense,
Yeah.
defensive guy at the Spurs.
That Spurs team was so good.
Yeah.
And then and if he wins chip on the Clippers,
Well,
And-
now, I mean, you're the best player of all time. You won the Clippers.
true.
Now you've been to a conference.
True. They have not been to a
Western
conference
Conference
championship,
So,
even with Showtime.
yeah.
Even with Showtime. Wow.
But no, Leonard. If his team wants to succeed, he has to be the leader.
Yeah.
He has to be the leader. And I know he's got 3 other big personalities on the team, but he's got to be the leader. Maybe not the vocal leader.
He's playing
but
good minutes too right now.
He's got to be.
That's that.
Yeah, he's got to be the leader. He's got to keep this team together and keep people in check.
All right.
Interesting.
Speaking of the fall of dynasties, as we were earlier, Coach Nick Saban, the greatest
Yeah.
college football head
Done
coach of
well.
all time, has retired,
Yeah.
leaving an absolute ripple effect in college football coaching. We will get into NFL coaching right after this, but first, guys, reactions to the career of Nick Saban.
I mean, what is there to say? He won 7 national titles.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the Bama the last he's been there since '07. The Bama the last 15 years has been unparalleled with any college football dynasty of all time. Think of the number of first-round draft picks he produced, the number of, I mean, obviously his success on the football field, but I mean, you didn't hear of these kids getting in trouble off the field. I mean, there's some one or two here or there, but I mean, he had these kids in check, and he made a lot of great men from his football program. And so not only success on the field, but off the field, and it was unparalleled by any coach ever. So I think he's easily the greatest of all time. And there's not really much to say. It's just like
Yeah, not
Right.
much to say.
greatness speaks for itself.
I'd say you pretty much hit on everything.
So what do we think of the hire of Washington's head coach to come be at Alabama now? And with all the transfers going away, I think we just got, earlier this morning it was announced that their former number one quarterback in the country had transferred after his freshman year.
Well, you know, I mean, this is obviously developed in the last 2 weeks since Sam retired. But if I, as an LSU fan, had to pick someone to be the Alabama head coach, I picked DeBoer because I think he's the least qualified of all of them. I initially was terrified because I thought they were going to get Mike Norvell.
Yeah,
And if he goes,
that was pretty.
Right.
That was pretty scary.
he goes in there, he gets the thing right.
Or Sarkisian was
Yeah,
also
or
rumored.
Sarkisian, or I mean, I'd rather they pick Kiffin than the other two, but Kiffin would have gotten some offensive recruits. But I mean, DeBoer, I understand why you pick him, but I can easily credit this Washington team to their talent. I don't know how much it was on the coaching.
Well, he's been there since their other appearance in the college football championship, right? No?
No.
He was not that head
He's
coach?
only been there 2 years. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Really?
He's only been there 2 years, and he.
His
What the heck?
I don't want to say his exact record though, but his record
His record's
in
really
college
good.
football is insane.
It's really good, but I feel you can look up wherever he was before. But he coached at like a low D1, maybe an FCS school, and that's where he racked up his
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
But no, I mean he's a solid hire, but compared to the other guys, like that's probably the worst hire that Alabama could have had.
Yeah.
And that might be because the other guys have programs running at a high level, like Sarkisian at Texas. I mean, he's firing all cylinders right now, and Dan Lanning at Oregon. Oregon's becoming a powerhouse again.
Yeah. I am excited to see how DeBauer takes the career of Jalen Milroe to the next level. Obviously, we saw in the second half of the season how elite Milroe can be. He struggled a bit against that Michigan defense, obviously, but Michigan was just... That is one of the better title teams we've ever seen. Obviously, people will say there's an asterisk, but, I mean, if Kalen DeBauer can make Michael Penix a Heisman candidate, imagine what he can do with Milroe after seeing that second
Is
half.
Milroe definitely staying?
Milroe, as of now, is staying. There's no
Okay.
reason for him to leave.
Okay.
Speaking of not saying, Caleb Downs, Kane Proctor, and others transferred from Alabama.
Battle.
I think it was
Didn't-
over 20
Or is he going
transfers.
to the
since-
draft?
Yeah.
Battle?
I don't know.
Over 20. I saw this morning. It was over.
He's so good. He's so freaking good.
It was over 20 transfers have left since Saban's departure.
And then I know for a fact Kool-Aid McKinstry's going to the draft
He's going
as
to
well.
Yeah.
He's
But
going to
it
be a top
was-
10 pick.
In the transfer portal, 2 5-stars. It was something like 10 4-stars, and then like
I know at least
10 3-stars. So a lot of talented guys have left. Majority of them going to Florida State. Florida
Texas.
State's gotten their
Texas
hands on a
got a
lot.
lot.
Texas has gotten a lot.
I got Isaiah Bond.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, but let's talk about something real quick. Mike Elko, former Duke head coach, now taking over for Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. Texas A&M, as of yesterday, is the highest ranked transfer portal class from 24/7.
That also has to do with Louisville taking 3 Ole Miss recruits. Otherwise, Ole Miss would still be the number 1.
But they weren't even like top 4 a couple weeks ago.
No, Elko's a good coach.
Elko's been
I mean,
coaching.
You saw what he did at Duke last year. But again, just it's so hard for him to compete for recruits at A&M, especially now that Texas is going to be in the SEC.
Yeah.
Texas pulling so many. The ones that Texas doesn't pull usually go to LSU. I mean, there's a couple weeks ago, Texas A&M's highest recruit just flipped LSU.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for his recruiting. He's a good coach though, and he should turn around A&M from what Fisher had. But with the buyout situation and just
Yeah.
Just Texas A&M in general. It's gonna be really hard for Elko to get this thing running quickly. So
Yeah.
We'll see. It'll be interesting.
All right, we'll talk about a couple more important ones. Jed Fish from Arizona coming up to
I
Washington.
love that hire.
Great hire.
I love that hire.
Hopefully he's not just a one-season wonder, but what Arizona was able to do and bring back that really, really horrid team from 2 years ago.
I think if we had the 12 team this year, that Arizona would have made a run in the 12 team playoff. Like, that was such a sleeper team. And I think we were saying that even from some of our first podcasts.
Yeah.
Was that Arizona is a team not to take lightly. And obviously we saw that in the Alamo Bowl, too.
Yeah.
Beat Oklahoma.
they lost to Arkansas week 1. Think about that.
Yeah, I know.
That's so weird.
And then, such an interesting team because they definitely started a lot lower than they finished.
Yeah.
Only a couple more important ones that we should really even touch on. Jonathan Smith, Oregon State has been a very, very solid program for years and years now. He's going to Michigan State, which is in need of a program revitalization. I like that because I do feel like Oregon State has had an identity as being an elite program for the last few years, and Jonathan Smith has been a big part of that. So I think if you were a Michigan State fan, you should be very happy with that hire. Mel Tucker was obviously not going to be the guy. And Jeff Levy, Oklahoma offensive coordinator, who's been explosive for the last few years or so. Maybe not the guy that you want in state. I would say if you're going to hire a head coach to come to the SEC, I feel like it's better if he's had head coaching experience.
I 100% agree with that.
He's our head coach.
Yeah, Levy is the new Mississippi State head coach.
Where is he at? Oklahoma?
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
the
the
Oklahoma
offensive coordinator. Yeah.
He worked at Ole Miss, UCF, Oklahoma.
I know.
Works
The
for
SEC is such a high market that I don't understand why you wouldn't hire a previous head coach.
Absolutely.
That is Mississippi State.
Yeah. But, that's state. State will be near the bottom of the college football scene along with Arkansas and Vanderbilt.
Along with a lot of the SEC.
SEC based.
Maybe Walter Taylor will turn this program around. Or Vanderbilt announced yesterday that they had the
Time
they
for
had
a
the Conference
Vanderbilt
USA Player of the Year diva. The quarterback is now coming along with his New Mexico State starting quarterback is now coming along with his offensive coordinator.
Beat Auburn.
So now we have 2 4-star transfer portal recruits at quarterback.
There we go. 2's better than 1.
And before we move on, quick congratulations to David Braun. He was
Great
the
season.
interim head coach
Great,
at Northwestern.
Great.
Complete turnaround there.
1-11 when they finish.
They finished. I think they were an 8-win team.
8-5.
Did they not win a bowl game?
No, they won their bowl.
Yeah.
game.
Let's
Yeah.
let's
They
go
won
look
the
at
bowl
it.
game.
I believe Northwestern record. Obviously, they're playing an easy schedule, but I mean, just with everything that happened, congrats to them. Yeah, they finished 8-5
after going 1-11 last year.
Wow!
Great
Congratulations.
job.
Very, very, very deserving of the head coaching job there.
Alright, I want to go back to Alabama for 1 second. Talk about there. I highlighted Caleb Downs and Caden Proctor entering transfer portal because, more so I just want to talk about Caleb Downs and the impact that he played on Alabama's defense. As a freshman, both these kids started every game for Alabama, both 5-star prospects. Caleb Downs as a safety in Nick Saban's defense had 120 tackles, 2 picks, and a forced fumble. He jumped out when I watched Alabama, and he might have been their best player on defense as a freshman. He was all SEC first team as a freshman, the All-American freshman team, and he was named Freshman of the Year. And on the other side of the ball, Caden Proctor started every game at line for Bama, and he also was all SEC freshman team. So these 2 guys decommitting is huge because it's just going to lead to more and more Alabama players decommitting. And I just really think Alabama's going to take a pretty big drop off next year.
I think I'd slightly disagree. Although there is a lot of talent leaving, we have to think about the troves and troves and troves of talent that's still there at Alabama. And they did have a very, very solid recruiting class this year, and you said these were
2
freshmen.
5-star.
I was about to say a lot of their guys in their recruiting class are decommitting.
They are?
2
Yes.
5-star wide receivers decommitted within the last 2 days.
That's not good. Well, I don't know. you can't count Alabama out
No.
either, especially with a solid head coach. I do think they're still an 8 or 9 win football team, but yeah.
I looked at their schedule today. I could see the floor being 7-5 and their ceiling being 9-3.
Because I do think that this is Jalen Milroe's Heisman year.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Milroe is my pick for the Heisman right now. He's my pick for the Heisman tomorrow. He's my pick for the Heisman week 0. And he's my pick for the Heisman week 1. Maybe Quinn Ewers, but I don't think Texas is ready for the SEC, personally. I don't think they're ready for the swamp. I don't think that they're ready to play at Alabama. I don't think they're prepared for that road schedule. I don't even think they're prepared for in Columbia at night. Jordan Hare. Even teams with who are considered to be mid programs like Auburn or South Carolina or Arkansas. They still all have really, really great student environments at their games. Better than any of the Big 12.
Auburn's gonna surprise people this year.
Auburn's good.
I do think. Freeze the right guy. I think he will surprise. But what I will say about Texas is that as much as I don't want them to be ready for the SEC, I really think they're gonna come in here and they're gonna contend with Georgia for the title. I mean, obviously they're keeping almost all the talent that they do have, but they're bringing the guys like Bond and others from Bama. And I don't know what other powerhouse in the SEC besides Georgia is there to contend with them for this upcoming season. Especially with Alabama kind of taking a step back. I really think it is Texas or Georgia's conference to win at this point.
I don't know. I think they've got an easy. Well, let's just go through the schedule real quick. They've got an easy first game in Colorado State, and then they play at Michigan.
That's crazy out of conference.
Let's go Orgy. Let's go Orgy for the win. Obviously talking about the quarterback. Orgy for the W. And then UTSA, ULM. That's fine. They play Mississippi State.
No. Ooh.
Then they play
That's interesting.
versus Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl.
I was about to say that Cotton Bowl environment's probably
Dude,
the
what is their
closest
schedule?
Texas gets.
What is
to
their
that.
schedule? What is the schedule? Hold on. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're trying to tell me, SEC, that this is their conference schedule, and you look at Vanderbilt's conference schedule.
Vanderbilt, according to 247 Sports, has the 6th toughest schedule in the nation next year.
Yeah, what the hell is this, SEC? Okay, they play Georgia. Big freaking whoop. They play them at home. They play at Vanderbilt. That's literally nothing. They play Florida, sure, but they play them at home.
Hey, I don't
So you
know. I
take
don't
away-
know if they'll be able to handle that Vanderbilt
You
environment.
take away all that swamp voodoo magic. I mean, the stadium will.
At Arkansas.
At Arkansas.
Go into Fayetteville.
Woo pig. They're gonna be playing at noon. That game's gonna be a noon game. There's gonna be 0 environment.
11 a.m.
Kentucky, big whoop. Okay, and then at Texas A&M. Whoop-de-doo. Bring back the rivalry. That will be a rocking
At
game.
That would be a fun game, no
At-
matter how good either
But
team is.
you're trying to tell me that is their schedule, and then we go to the Vanderbilt schedule. They have to play
Just go
first of
get
all.
that.
I do think before we hit Vanderbilt's schedule, I do think this could be the year we see a 9-3 SEC team make the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I mean, it is 12.
Just because of how
How
many
tough it is.
teams have tough schedules.
Yeah.
We could see a 7-win.
Oh, yeah.
We could see a 7-win Vanderbilt team. But first we have
Sure.
Virginia Tech, whatever. Alcorn State, whatever. Georgia State, whatever. We play at Missouri, so that's immediately harder
I'm
than
saying
every
going into that
single way.
Missouri game, I think y'all could be 1-2. Just like to
It's
put that out
freaking
there.
Out.
Loss against
We're not losing to Georgia State. Vanderbilt will not lose to Georgia State. One of the quarterbacks will prevail as being very, very good.
We'll clip that and we'll
We
post
will
it
be-
up on going into week 4.
We will be 3-0 going into that. Maybe 2-1.
You're not
Maybe
Virginia-
2-1.
Virginia Tech has a good recruiting
You're not
class.
beating Virginia.
Recruiting class recruiting fast. Like literally Texas A&M. Let's talk about Texas A&M 2 years ago. Oh my goodness, the best recruiting class of all time. They're so
Yeah, but
freaking good. They sucked that year. I don't know if you remember that.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that.
Alright,
They
alright.
sucked.
Let's get to
Okay.
the conference.
Then we play at Missouri. We play Bama. We play at Kentucky, Ball State. Then we play Texas. Then we play at Auburn. Then South Carolina. Then we play at LSU and then Tennessee. What in the world? What in the world is that?
I
This
love
is
that.
going to be a fun Vanderbilt season.
So Vanderbilt has to play at Auburn at night and at LSU at night.
Yeah.
Just
Sweet.
kill myself, dude.
Look at
Don't
that.
do
Look at
that.
stretch. Look
To
at
the
that
viewers, do not do
stretch.
that.
Texas at Auburn.
Let's do a quick schedule prediction. Win, win, win. 3-0.
Loss,
L,
loss,
L,
loss,
L.
win.
W, 4-3. L, L, W.
No, you're not picking up.
We're
Yeah.
gonna beat South Carolina. They were garbage last season.
I
And now, like, everyone, they're garbage and everyone.
Vanderbilt will go either 3-9 or 4-8, folks.
Oh, and then
That's my
you play
record
Tennessee at
prediction.
home. Tennessee.
We had our freaking best transfer.
Hey, you got
That would be okay. That'd be hilarious if y'all were like 2-9 going into that Tennessee game and
Hey,
beat Tennessee.
But Nico.
Oh,
Nico.
Nico. Oh my goodness, I forgot about Nico.
Nico Alibaba, he's such a fraud. I hope you Tennessee fans realize that. Nico Alibaba is not going to get you anything. more
Okay,
than
look,
7
look,
wins.
look. Back to SEC.
8 wins, because SEC just likes packing up these pretty.
We don't
schedules
know
for the
how
best team.
good Nico and Tennessee can be.
Alibaba.
Obviously, Nico played good in the bowl, and Tennessee has a good
Iowa.
team around him.
Yeah,
And
he's freaking Iowa.
I'm
the number one
okay. But you saw what Josh Heupel did with someone
You
like
freaking parrot.
Joe.
Calling Tennessee fan. Number one defense. Same people who were saying, why is Iowa a top 25 team? They literally suck. They literally have the worst offense. They play like Minnesota every week.
Yeah.
But then, and then as soon as Nico Alibaba has a good game, he just beat the number one defense in
Look,
the entire college football.
Think of what Heupel did with a quarterback like Joe Milton
That
last year.
fat guy.
Um,
I can't.
Look up Nico's
But
stats.
I can't
during that
curse.
game.
He had a good game. I remember.
No,
I know.
He had the end of it. He had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's what he had like 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yes,
maybe?
yes.
I think he had 3.
3
But-
rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
Again, I think
Right?
Heupel is a great coach, and with a player like Nico that is as talented as he is, maybe not this year, but certainly next year, that Tennessee offense can be really scary. I think it's going to be back to where he had it with Hendon Hooker, and even just looking back to last year, thinking what he did with Joe Milton, that quarterback, and I think Nico is going to be a lot
They're
better.
probably going to be good.
I love when Tennessee's
So-
bad though.
So yeah, next
It's
year,
so much
love
fun.
It.
It's
It's
so much better.
much fun when Tennessee's bad.
next year will be a wild card year
Easiest fan base to make fun of by
for
far.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
We don't know how good Nico's going to play. But if he plays anywhere near his capability, I think Tennessee can make a run in this weaker SEC year. But the team that really is my dark horse for the SEC is Ole Miss next year.
Yeah, they're
And,
good.
Yeah. They're really good.
You know,
But at the same time, it's Lane Kiffin.
yes, right. That's the one concern is Lane Kiffin. We got 2 balls.
Good call.
All right, I got a call from John Cox. I'm gonna pick this one up. Hello, John.
Alright, so I was in college.
All right.
And the Tennessee hate is absolutely absurd.
Is it?
It's ridiculous.
They finished exactly how I thought they were going to finish.
Yeah, you did.
I was right.
I was
on my schedule
I was
prediction.
trying to give Tennessee.
I've been right about Tennessee all year.
Hold on. All right. Let me hear it.
Alright. Make fun of Nico all you want, bro. But when we're in the national championship, I don't want to hear Nico Alibaba come out.
Nico Alibaba is going to fly until you guys beat a top 10 team this year. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think Nico is very good. I'm not even going to deny that for a second. I'm not even going to try and be like biased. I think Nico's very good. I just don't think that this is the Tennessee team to support Nico, is all I'm saying.
Alright, and you know that's not a horrible take. Not a horrible take, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Also, Nico Alibaba is very fun to say.
All right.
Alright.
Yep. 2.
Top.
Okay.
Lot to take away.
Back to what I was saying. Again, I think this is gonna be a weaker year for the
It's their
SEC.
first college.
Georgia, yes, it's fun. Georgia's gonna be there again because Kirby has their program running. Again, I don't know what Texas is gonna do, but the wild cards. I already talked about Tennessee. I think Ole Miss, if they don't win the SEC this year, you gotta move on from Kiffin. I mean, it starts senior.
Yeah.
It starts senior
That
year.
I like that.
Whoa.
I like that.
Kiffin has been at this 10-2 level, 9-3,
Mhm.
10-2, for 4 or 5 years at Ole Miss. He hasn't gotten over the hump. I don't think he's a disciplined enough coach to get the talent that he needs on defense, to get the defense coordinator that he needs, to build a solid enough defense to get over the hump. And for Ole Miss fans, it looks good. And I think he's going to keep his job this year because he's going to go like 10-2, and now he's going to make that 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
So then the Ole Miss fans are going to be like, oh, we made the playoff this year. But they're going to be first-round exit, and then they're just going to be stuck in the cycle again. They're going to have a flashy 10-2 year with a great offense. And then next year they're going to get a new quarterback. Again, a flashy offense. But they're not going to have the defense to beat teams like Alabama, like LSU. I know they beat LSU this year, but they still couldn't beat Alabama. Got blown out by Georgia. I just don't think, under Kiffin, they're not going to have what it takes to take that next step, win the SEC, and especially not compete for national.
Here's what I'll say. I think in the same light, this is very similar to the Ryan Day conversation, in my opinion. Sure, you want to fire Ryan Day. I think that's fine. I think that's a fine take. Oh, he gets us 11-1 every single season, and we don't make the playoffs, but we end up going to the bowl. Like, obviously, you want a guy who can get you over the hump. But then at the same time, it's like, if you're Ole Miss, if you're Ohio State, okay, then who's the guy? Then tell me who the guy is that's going to consistently get you production out of, let's be honest, a very, very subpar defense. Or, in Ryan Day's case, who's going to continue to win 11 games and then fall to the best team in college football when it
No, I
matters,
think
with a subpar quarterback.
Ryan Day is unacceptable. That is right.
And I do think that if Lane Kiffin does not win 10 games this year, then you can debate it. You can debate it.
I mean, they have so much talent coming in through the transfer
So much
portal.
talent. I know
Much
they
talent.
lost Judkins, but I mean they made it up, and it's Dart's senior year, and they haven't had. I mean, think like Dart last year reminded me a lot of Corral. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that was Corral's senior year. So now Dart's coming back for one more year. I saw what he did last year. I mean, I don't. They have to at least make an SEC title game. Ole Miss has not made an SEC title game ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
So you're saying then ultimately, if Ole Miss does not have a 10-win season, Kiffin's gone.
Even if they do, I think he's not going to be gone. He's not going to be gone unless they go like.
But there's like a
8-4.
conversation to
But-
be had.
If I'm an Ole Miss fan, it's like Penn State too. It's
Yeah.
like Penn State and
James
Ole Miss
Franklin.
are really.
Okay, but let's think, James Franklin, that's like over the span of like almost 10
Right.
seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But it's a very similar boat that you're in. And it's the SEC,
yes,
so
it's the SEC. And think of where Penn State was when they got Franklin. Like they were still digging out of the. Crap, was there a really good coach that was there?
Who that?
Who?
Rick Paterno. Wait, no. Crap, no. There's a really good coach in the '80s for Penn State when they were dynasty. But anyways,
They were very good.
and they
in
faced
the
all
80s.
that thing because of the defense coordinator. He finally did a couple wrong things. But
Texted.
so I mean, Franklin has taken that program to where it is now. But Franklin can't win the big game. I don't think Kiffin can either. I think both programs need to move on. I don't think they will though.
I've gotten a text.
FYI, our phone lines are open, so feel free to call any one of us, and we will take your call.
I'm being told that Nico's name is pronounced Nico Iamaleava. Iamaleava. Does not roll off the tongue like Ali
Yes,
Baba,
I
unfortunately.
pronounce it Lama Leva, but that is wrong because it's
That is very wrong.
That's very wrong because there's an I, not an L, as the first letter. Anyways, we're gonna move on from Nico and college football as a whole. Kind of. No, we're not. Anyways, we're gonna
Can't
transition
wait
to
for
our
that
next
8
segment.
and 4 season, boys. Can't wait.
All right, so that's. I'm just gonna let Russell end his Tennessee slander for the episode. We'll pick up next week. Russell will have some more Tennessee.
Okay,
slander
first
next
of all,
week.
why is Tucker Glendening talking like he's a Tennessee fan?
Tell him to call
Buddy,
me.
get your ass back in the morning.
Tell him. Tell
You
him.
just got banned.
Whoops!
Wait, what?
We were banned before. It's fine.
Yeah, I said bass.
We can't watch.
Hey, Tucker, call in.
We can't watch
We
it.
would like to talk to you.
We can't
So
watch it on-
unfortunately, you can no longer watch this on the school Chromebook.
But you can watch it on your phone. Wow.
You can watch it on your phone.
But you
To the Wire Sports, follow the Instagram as well.
We gotta put up an Insta for the NFL segment later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta announce our return.
Okay, we got.
And
Okay, we gotta get going. Our second segment, I kind of want to touch on 2024 NFL Draft. Because I mean, thinking about last year,
yeah,
I remember that class was really hyped up last year, and
every class
For the
was
mo-
hyped up. Good or
I know,
bad.
but
good or bad.
last year's class was really hyped up. I mean, think of just the top 2 picks alone, Stroud and Bryce Young,
Yep.
and what they've done.
Yep.
I mean, Stroud, I think it's too early on Young.
Yes.
And
Very true. Very true.
I don't
very
think.
true.
I mean, Young, he'll be fine. But think of what Stroud has done. Stroud has played out of his mind.
Insane.
His poise, his pocket work, everything.
I'm-
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
I'm excited to see him against the Ravens
He's one,
tomorrow.
he's one of the
I'm
best
really
quarterbacks in the
excited to see him
NFL.
play against the Ravens.
But think of this draft class. Not just quarterbacks, but all around.
Yeah.
Think of other positions as well.
Elite defensive players. Obviously, you got like Kool-Aid, cornerback. You love to see an elite cornerback in the
Yeah.
draft.
But yeah, before we touch our quarterbacks, because that's the main of this class, we have 5 incredible quarterbacks in this class. I
Very
want to
good
touch on a couple other players. Obviously, Brock Bowers, absolutely amazing tight end, probably the best college tight end I've ever watched. The dominance that he showed in these last 3 years at Georgia is unmatched by anyone that I've ever witnessed.
He has the
Um,
potential to be very good in the NFL
Yeah.
too. I mean, he's got the size, he's got everything you want in a tight end. Reminds me a lot of like Mark Andrews in a sense.
Yeah, he's a great blocker, but he can
What
also go
happened to
down.
Darnell Washington?
He's on the Steelers. I saw him in the playoff game.
Really?
Yeah, I hadn't.
What has
seen
he done?
I hadn't seen him all year.
Hold on, I just remembered Darnell Washington. What did he do this year?
I don't know.
He was insane. I was so hyped up on him as a
That
prospect.
1-2 punch was. The Steelers will utilize him more next year.
Dang.
But yeah, I
Yikes.
saw he got a.
7 receptions, 61 yards.
But think also that's a low passing offense.
But
They
they
have
didn't.
fun.
They didn't pass it across the middle of the field like one time. So
Yeah.
they're like, he's fine.
Anyways, so yes, obviously Brock Bowers is. I don't even know. I mean, he's just all around tight end, but it's like, how high do you want to pick a tight end, and how much of an impact can a tight end have on your team? And then before we get to quarterbacks, the other thing is that this receiver class is one of the best we've seen in a while. Headlined by Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Roma Dunze. And then you think of guys like Brian Thomas Jr. I think Worthy's going to the draft, right? Texas, Xavier Worthy?
No. I feel like I saw something about him going to the draft.
Okay.
Not sure though.
Even if he
Who?
doesn't, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his wide receiver class is stacked. I mean, I know Harrison is the best prospect, but you look at teams like the Bears, who could potentially trade back and get a receiver. It's, do you want to stay high and pick a guy like Harrison, or do you want to trade back and pick a guy who might be a little worse, but you can get more value out of him, like a Neighbors or a Dunze. So I think there's a lot of good receivers, and there's going to be a couple
Yeah.
steals of the draft.
So many steals. Hopefully the Panthers can get with the first pick in the second round. Can get a guy like Washington out of like Notre Dame or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because even he is an elite
Yeah.
prospect, but he's not going to go to the second round because there's a million guys in this class.
There's a lot of guys, and it's like you said, I think you will see come 2 years, 3 years from now, like teams that actually got such good steals, not first round, but like rounds 2 through 7, guys that all of a sudden you're like, wait, they were in that draft class too? Because there's so many talented
There's a ton.
guys in this class.
Yeah, I think I saw a mock draft where it had Brian Thomas Jr. going to Bengals at like
There
the
you go.
25th pick.
There you go.
And them letting T. Higgins walk in free agency. So think about that. I mean, they can replace Higgins like that. But yeah, this receiver class is deep, but not as deep as this quarterback class, which I wanted to highlight.
Yeah,
True.
quarterback class.
So the top 5 prospects, in no particular order. Caleb Williams.
Well, let's give an order. Let's each give an individual order of these top 5 prospects and then break it down. I think let's
Okay.
just do it.
Okay.
We do
well-
rankings, we do lists, we do hard questions because that's just what we do on this show.
Okay, well, the 5 to choose from are Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels. So,
Really quick, are we going off of talent they have right now or potential talent we see?
It's a mix. It's a mix. Top 5 prospects,
top 5 prospects.
which evaluates talent and
You
potential.
want to start? I can start.
Yeah, I got you start.
Again, we'll talk about this more, but it's so, like, these guys especially are just they're all kind of wild cards. So it's really going to be interesting to see how their careers turn out. If I had to rank them today, my prospect list would be like it is right now: Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix, and then Bo Nix.
I like that list. In fact, that might be my exact same list. In fact, that might be my exact same list.
Repeat. Say
It's
it
like
again.
Except
Caleb Williams, then
Daniels,
that's
it's that list.
Williams, Daniels.
I'm going to switch Penix and Drake May
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah.
And here's why. Look, Drake May has the potential to be a really great quarterback. I won't deny that. But the guy I think who has the most potential is, I think, Daniels. Daniels is like what you look for in that dual threat quarterback of today's game, the NFL. He's a guy who's not necessarily run first, but he'll kill you when he runs the
Yeah,
ball.
that's true. That's what
And
I was going to say.
Huge arm, accurate. I like the Lamar with an arm comparison, although I would kind of honestly go with
Don't
like
like that.
Not even,
I would kind of go with more of like a Herbert with legs, because he'll be like a
Yeah.
little bit more conservative. He'll
Yeah.
kind of like
he's conservative in the run game, and well, we'll start with Daniels first if we're going with quarterbacks, because but yeah, I struggled to find a pro comparison because I feel like he plays quarterback downhill, and he tries to throw as much as he can, but when he takes off, he kills you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't try to take off when he doesn't need to. I feel last year as a junior he did. He used his legs a lot more. But this year he's gotten a lot better sitting in the pocket and making good throws. And I was really impressed by his arm talent. I mean, he felt like he could make any throw on the field this year.
Mhm.
He reminds me of how Lamar is in his career right now.
Yeah.
Not as much as an earlier Lamar, because I feel like an earlier Lamar would take any chance he got to run.
To run, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And here's the thing. There's always going to be a quarterback prospect that scares you in every single draft. Going back a couple drafts, you've got like Kenny Pickett wasn't the solid number one guy,
Well, no,
but then also like Malik Willis was like, oh,
we'll think
where's Malik Willis?
Kenny Pickett's class is really weak. He was like
Very, very.
he was
weak.
the only solid quarterback, and he's still only. But he went like 30th overall.
But I feel like there's always sort of like that hot button guy. Like, let's go back even further. Let's go like Josh Rosen. Remember, people were like, he didn't necessarily have the production in college, but maybe he makes it happen. Let's go back, Mitch Trubisky. You know?
Yeah.
Obviously, some of these guys turn out.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are examples like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
There's examples like Josh Allen. But when I look at Drake May's package in comparison to those two guys, I see more Rosen. I see more that side of the ball. I think he played against fine talent. He played good in the games that he was in. I don't think he necessarily took that much of a step up compared to last year, if I'm being 100% honest. But you could say the same thing.
I would
about Caleb
also say on that, knowing watching a lot of ACC football.
Yeah, we got our ACC specialist Connor next to us.
The talent that he was surrounded with was not nearly as good as the past season. Like
Yeah.
the season before this past one.
Yeah, because
With
they had
North
the,
Carolina.
wasn't it, who was it, Caleb? What was his name? Receiver?
Downs.
Josh Downs.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Downs.
Caleb Downs. I was like, but,
No, they did not have nearly as much talent this season as they did
True.
seasons past. And I've been saying that kind of all college football season with him. I really like his raw talent. I'm really interested to see him in the NFL. And to be honest, he would be my number 1 or number 2 guy. I know you guys have him at 4.
I haven't.
Well, you have him at 3. Russell's got him at 4.
Yeah.
He's my number 1 or number 2. I just think he's got the size of a traditional quarterback. He's very much like Josh Allen, as you guys have said. I'm just interested. Now, I think he's either going to be a great quarterback or a complete flop. Like, I don't think there's any in between.
No, I researched him a little bit. My research by watching some highlights last night and recently. But I mean, I was skeptical on this dude, hearing about him, like, and you see in all these mock drafts him going like number 2 overall,
Yeah.
Yeah.
number 2, number 1.
He
prospect.
seems pretty. It's him and
Um,
Daniels for
yeah.
that top slot.
Right,
For
and
that
that-
second best slot.
So I was curious about that. But I mean, after watching the tape, I mean, he can make any throw on the field.
Yeah, he is such a talented guy. it's gonna all come down to coaching. Like, who's gonna develop him the best?
Yeah, he can make any throw. I mean, I saw when he was at midfield. He just 2 blitzes coming, back foot.
Yeah.
I would say he's pretty similar to Levis in that fact.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Levis last year, Levis led a solid team. Last year's Kentucky and this year's UNC are pretty similar in their performance levels, except one of them lost to Vanderbilt.
Well, last
It was
year's-
Kentucky
hang on.
lost at home to Vanderbilt last
The
year.
Levis with Kentucky was 7-5 in the regular season.
Well, they also, I mean,
They were 6-5 going in the Louisville game. They beat Louisville, but Louisville wasn't very good either.
young. Drake Mason really young, and Levis.
Yeah.
Levis was in college
True.
for a while.
Yeah.
And Levis is not a total flop. Levis, I mean, he played.
Levis is,
played solid this year.
I mean,
yeah,
solid.
I will say Levis is pretty freaking good. Look, I
I've met
originally
Will
was
Levis.
pretty skeptical. You've met Will? Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
has met.
I
Oh, yeah,
met-
he
I met
has
Will
met
Levis
Will
at
Levis. I
Princeton.
forgot that.
shout out Will Levis.
Man.
Here's the thing I'll say about Will
Yeah.
Levis. I think that's a guy who, obviously, with a young quarterback, you don't want to switch head coaches. And we will get into that Vrabel fire. We'll get into that Vrabel fire here in just a couple seconds. But I think with the right coaching, you can't coach that Dolphins game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't coach those moments like that. He's got a fire, unlike any of the other guys in this class, in my opinion. But before we move on from the draft, there's one question I really want to get into. The Bears. Obviously, they've got the number 1 pick from my camp.
We should really have a Bears fan call in on this one.
Eberflus is staying. That's what's going on. Eberflus is staying. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either, especially with the way that they turned around the season. But you've got Justin Fields, who I'm gonna be honest. If he won that Packers game, there would be no discussion right now. In my
There we
mind.
go.
Yeah, here we go. Here we
And
go.
we've got Peyton Gordon, resident Bears fan, calling in about the Caleb Williams, Justin Fields. That's what I'm saying.
We want Justin.
That was something we talked about, was between either Caleb Williams or Justin Fields.
Brock Purdy can win with talent around him. Jared Goff can win with talent around him. If we give Justin Fields, Marvin Harrison, and DJ Moore to throw, and even Curtis Samuel, bring him over from Washington, put some talent
Bears
around him,
fan, pretty good.
and we're solid. We're there. Our
Panthers
backfield's
legend.
good. Our backfield's very good. Khalil Herbert proves he's a solid back.
Shout out
Johnson
Dante
proves he's a
Foreman.
solid third down back. Even Deontay Foreman had flashes of greatness. Our defense.
He's
Number
good.
1 takeaways with a terrible start. Number 1 takeaways with a terrible start. Our pass rush, unbelievable. Montez Sweat coming off the edge. I mean, and what if we draft Dallas Turner? The only way I think it makes sense for us to trade Justin Fields is if we get that first round pick from Atlanta. If they're that crazy to give us a first rounder from Atlanta,
Yeah, there's no way
then let's
that's
get rid of
going
him.
down.
Let's go all in on Caleb, get 3 first round picks. I love that. But if we don't get a first round pick, I don't think Justin has proven that he should be in Chicago. And another thing is, what about that locker room? Everyone in the locker room wants Justin. If they
Yeah.
trade Justin and Caleb comes in, do you know how hard he's gonna have to work to win that locker room over? That
Yeah.
locker room's
That's
automatically gonna
really
dislike him just because of their love for Justin. Caleb's coming into a lose situation if he comes into Chicago. Because all year it's just gonna be him being compared to how Justin's doing whatever team he's at and how Justin's done.
There's going to be huge expectations.
The expectations for Caleb would be so unfair in Chicago if he went to a different team. So
Yeah.
that's why I think we should keep Justin. What's your opinion?
I think it's pretty clear that Justin is the guy. I mean, there's no way that y'all have the sort of end of the season that y'all did. Kind of quietly had, like, what was it, 7 wins this year? Am I right? Yeah. And so, I mean, just what was a very good end of the season. And, like, imagine you trade that first pick down and you get
You're gonna get
even.
some- yeah,
You're going to get so much for the number 1 pick. They know they're going to get so much for the number 1 pick because they got so much for the number 1 pick last year from these guys.
People that can catch the ball. Hey, Russell, thanks for that. Are you a Panthers fan, right?
Yeah, I am a Panthers fan.
Thanks for that pick. And you today. I don't know what y'all were doing.
That's fine. We're literally fine.
I don't know.
We're fine.
How many wins y'all get this year?
We're fine. There's a plan. Look,
No,
Frank
no,
Reich
no.
is gone. We're gonna get Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator.
No, he's
The
not.
Texans.
Why would he leave the Texans?
He's interviewing with us right now.
That is true.
Yeah, Sloak
He
wants
is,
to leave.
yeah.
Sloak is like the next Sean McVay.
Russell, what's your opinion on Bryce?
Bryce is fine. And I think what you see is a lot of the head coaches, too, are saying right now that Bryce Young will be fine, especially Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay. He's had to study him all year, and he says he will one day be a great quarterback. He was sacked, I believe, 60 times this year. 60 times. He had no time to throw the ball. Ike Mukwanu was the worst left tackle in the pass game all freaking year. We had like 6 guys start or play at left guard this year. Like, just overall a terrible situation for him. Look, and Adam Thielen is your number 1 receiver. Really? We're going to let Chark walk. We're going to draft a guy. And we're going to sign T. Higgins to a fat deal because David Tepper's the second richest owner in the NFL. And no one's going to turn down $100 million. T. Higgins is not going to turn down $100 million from the Panthers, which is what we're going to give him. And I do think T. Higgins has number 1 wide receiver potential.
I really enjoyed my time on the show. Thank you guys. And the last thing I gotta say is just bear down.
Bear down.
There you go.
Bear down.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank-
All right, our second caller of the show.
Second call. Successful.
All right, where do we
Panthers.
go?
Panthers.
Okay, so are you gonna finish out these quarterback prospects? Let's do it. Come on.
Yeah. Let's just go through Knicks and Penix real quick.
I want to talk about Caleb Williams like sensibly. So
Okay,
we
yeah.
can just we'll blow by Penix and Knicks.
Yeah. I think Penix. Yeah, that is possible. I think Penix. I do like the Tua comp. I think he really is a solid quarterback. He kind of like runs more in like the Mahomes play style kind of way, where it's just like he just kind of like escapes on you without you really even noticing.
I really think he runs like Tua. Like Tua only kind of runs behind the line
Yeah.
of scrimmage when you're downfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
Tua's slow. I didn't know Tua was that slow.
no, Tua is slow.
Penix is
but-
faster than Tua, but
Yeah, and I think Penix is a great athlete.
they use their speed the same way.
But
If he can stay healthy, like if he can stay
Yeah,
out of
Penix will
injuries,
stay healthy.
Injuries is what killed his college
Yeah.
career, pretty much.
I think he'll be solid.
He would have won the Heisman potentially at Indiana if
Yeah.
it wasn't for his ACL. So
Yeah.
We also have accuracy.
Shout out Indiana
Yeah,
hiring
shout out-
JMU's head coach
Yeah.
this year too.
yeah,
That's another guy we didn't touch on. That's a
college
great hire.
football is better when Indiana is good.
Indiana, yeah, let's get Indiana up, Tennessee down, Vanderbilt up. No, nothing changes when Vanderbilt's good, because when Vanderbilt's good, it's only a 6-win season. They beat Arkansas. Now, enough Vanderbilt talk. No one can give a shit.
Okay, and then I mean Knicks is similar to Penix.
I didn't say a lot.
They're both really accurate players and passers.
Very true.
I love Knicks.
I think
I love
Knicks reminds me of Herbert.
Yeah,
Knicks.
Knicks will be
So
solid.
much like her.
Knicks will be solid. He is
Yeah,
very
he will be a
adapted to the
solid
college
NFL
game. So he's playing against college defenses. He was playing in the Pac-12, which defensively is not the best defensive
Pac-12 was
conference.
two conference this year.
Pac-12 was a shout out to the Pac-12 having a phenomenal season. Every Saturday night, I was tuning in to Pac-12 after dark. Every freaking Saturday night, because those were the best games all year round. Pac-12 was way more entertaining than the SEC was.
I mean, they were high scoring.
Pac-12 was
fun
way more
offensive
entertaining than the
games.
Big Ten was this year.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
All right,
the Big
and then last guy I want to hit on was Caleb Williams. He's the most talked about prospect.
Yeah.
He's the best overall prospect. Watching his tape, he reminds me of. I mean, he's a gunslinger. He's
gonna throw that ball.
He reminds me of
He's
Mahomes
gonna
at
throw that
times.
there.
He reminds me of Rodgers at times. He's like a hybrid of them, but I really can't give him a comparison because his play style.
It's too hard.
He's
It's too
he's
hard.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He plays like Caleb Williams. He
Yeah.
has his own comparison because he plays like you've never seen anyone play like him.
I would love to see Atlanta trade up for that first round pick because if Atlanta has
would.
a new head
love that.
coach, let's say it's Bill Belichick, but obviously, hopefully not.
They would need a coordinator. Whoever gets Belichick will need an offense coordinator.
I think they'll have Belichick, but let's be honest. They're going to have a good head coach who, let's be honest, Belichick is going to utilize his weapons at least. Let's not give like Belichick all this, oh, yeah, whatever. If he has Kyle Pitts and like Drake London and all those guys, Bijan at his disposal, and you insert Caleb Williams into that, that's really, really dangerous. That immediately and quietly, their offensive line has been one of the better ones in last season. I believe they were top 10 year before, if I'm not mistaken. But to get behind a good offensive line with all those weapons, and then you have Caleb Williams, that's by far. If I'm Caleb Williams, I'm like begging Atlanta to trade up for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, one thing. The only criticism I have of Caleb Williams is that he always tries to make a hero play.
Yeah,
And he could do it a lot. It was good enough that he did it a lot, but you see there's games.
he kept USC in a lot of
There was
games.
times like the Notre Dame game when he would get in
Yeah.
trouble. He would not throw it away. He wouldn't take the check down. He'd just scramble back there. He'd back up, and then he'd make a bad throw on it. And Notre Dame burned him on that. And a couple teams got him on that this year.
Yeah.
And if he wants the game to translate, he's got to make smarter decisions. He's got to be able to throw the ball away, and he's got to be content with not having a hero play every play.
Yeah,
Um,
true. That comes with coaching.
right. Besides that, he's the best overall prospect. I don't think you can pass on.
He'll be a fun guy to watch.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Briefly, let's talk about all the coaching carousel in the NFL. There's a lot of guys on the table. Obviously, Mike Vrabel being fired. Let's talk about that really quickly. Mike Vrabel being fired. If you are a Tennessee Titans fan, you should be devastated by Mike Vrabel being fired because not only now are you without a coach of the year from 2 years ago, but you're now without an identity. You've got a young rookie quarterback who doesn't have a head coach currently. You don't know if you're going to get anyone better than Vrabel because hiring a new head coach, especially with the ones that are on the market, a lot of them don't have head coaching experience. It's going to be hard to get a guy like Vrabel in there, and then you don't have an offensive line right now. Outside of Treylon Burks, who do you really have at receiver? Like, Allen Robinson is on the Titans right now?
D-Hop?
Yeah.
Or D-Hop. Okay, yeah,
DeAndre
D-Hop. You've
Hopkins.
got D-Hop, but D-Hop is on his way out. He had a good season, but, like, you're talking about 31-year-old wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then the defense has pieces, but will you be able to keep them together? Who knows? Shout out to Nico Autry. He's insanely good.
So frustrating.
But, I mean, it's like, this Titans team to me without him doesn't have an identity right now. They're just kind of like a bunch of pieces all like thrown together. And I guess the owner is just like, let's put an unexperienced head coach in here, mix it up, have a mediocre draft again and see what happens. Like, I just don't think that that's the way to go, especially with the Colts are going to get better next year. The Colts, because Anthony Richardson, when he did play, looked very, very, very good. Colts are going to get better. The Texans are going to be good for a long time. Oh, and the Jaguars are also probably a contender to win 10 games next year. And so, if I'm the Titans, you're kind of stuck in this place right now where it's like, you guys don't have the opportunity to go out and win the division, be second in the division, make the playoffs next year, or even 2 years from now. So it's just like, I don't know. You're going to wait and see. They just don't have the talent, and then obviously, I'm a small market fan. Nashville is a small market, small sports market right now. You
I
got to
was
draft.
gonna say, but I mean, they're building that new stadium.
They're building the
New-
stadium, but it's
new
not
stadium.
done yet.
Yeah, it's not. It's gonna be done in 2026. Seven. Okay.
7. And so that's not really much of a factor. They're still small market programs, so you do have to pay a lot of money to bring a guy in. So just to me, I don't know.
It's
The Vrabel fire was bad.
Alright.
On the flip side, I do think Belichick parting ways was the right way to go. They need a new identity.
Yep.
I think that's- Finally, our last segment. We're talking NFL playoffs. Quickly, Killian. We're gonna touch on a certain team that went
fly.
1-6 in the latter
Eagles,
half of the year.
fly.
a certain team that went
Fly,
2-6
Eagles, fly.
after that infamous Chiefs game. A certain team
All right, Russell.
with a certain head coach named Nick
I'm talking
Sirianni.
about Philadelphia Eagles.
We're talking about the Eagles, the Tush Push Eagles,
Brotherly shove.
losing to
It's brotherly shove.
Baker Mayfield.
Brotherly shove, Russell. What's my shirt say?
I think that I'm pretty sure that says Tush Push. Obviously, the Tush Push could not get them the win over Baker Mayfield and the NFC South champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Brotherly shove good.
You could not win at Raymond James Stadium. Killian, what's the
Yeah,
direction
well,
of the
I'm
Eagles?
The offensive play calling was terrible.
It was bad.
I've said that all year.
It's bad.
There was
Brian
some-
Johnson is a Rooney Rule hire. If your team is interviewing Brian Johnson, big surprise, it's a Rooney Rule.
There is I watched a video over the weekend coming back from West Virginia. It was by this dude Brett Coleman. I don't know if you're watching, but he has the all 22. He gets the all 22 film from the NFL, which they'll review. And he basically dissected the Eagles' offense and their play calling.
Mhm.
It's horrendously bad. 2 quick notes is that 50% of our run plays are inside zone, and we motion less than 30% of the time.
That was the Panthers' problem this
No
year.
team in the NFL.
No motion
No
with a
team
bad
in the-
offensive
No
line.
team in the NFL besides the Eagles is under 40%. It's just simple things like that. Again, the Eagles play calling's terrible. So the Eagles right now, as far as I know, we are gonna keep Sirianni and we're gonna fire Johnson, get coordinators. I don't know if I like that move. I really don't know who's calling the offense.
I don't think
I don't-
Johnson's going to get fired because he's getting head coach interviews right now.
We gotta fire him. If you don't fire Sirianni, you gotta fire Johnson. One of them's gotta go. Something has to change because that offense was
I don't
awful.
think it will personally. I think it does, but I don't think it will.
Why would they not change? Why would they not change something?
It just doesn't seem like that's what they want to do right now. I haven't seen no rumor right now of him getting fired. They're
Who,
obviously
Johnson?
keeping Sirianni. And then meanwhile he's getting head coaching hires. The motive of those hires to be questioned, obviously because of certain factors. But I don't think they'll fire him. But
Okay.
yeah, the Eagles are in
Well,
a strange spot.
Whoever
right here.
is running, I mean, if you get an average offensive coordinator, those teams are contender. Or the problem is I don't know who's calling the shots. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
completely under Johnson's control, or I don't know if Sirianni is like.
I think it's Sirianni's offense and
Right.
Johnson's just calling.
I don't know if Sirianni is like making Johnson to do these things. Whoever is calling shots has to go.
Whoever's calling the 1-6 offense has to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they don't get results, everyone will be gone next season.
They should be gone this season. Someone has to go.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't go, I mean, they're gonna revolt.
Honestly, to me, I was more surprised about than Sirianni or Johnson that Mike McCarthy wasn't fired after this year. I was
Yeah.
really surprised that McCarthy wasn't fired. It's like, okay, Cowboys, okay, Jerry Jones, if you want to stay mediocre, be my guest. If you want to stay having Dak Prescott be the next Tony Romo, then okay.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
fine.
this just
Tony
feels-
Romo with a couple more touchdowns
This,
is really what he is.
this is really concerning. If you're a Cowboys fan, I don't know who's in worse position, Eagles or Cowboys fans.
They're both pretty bad.
They're
I
both,
guess I'm gonna say Cowboys because at least the Eagles you can be like, okay, let's just fire a couple,
Eagles have more palpable
Right.
talent. I
fire a
think, than
couple
the Cowboys.
people, let's get new people in, and then let's reload this thing.
Yeah.
And we just went to a Super Bowl last year. If you think about the Cowboys, they've been here
They've been in the
I mean,
same
like,
spot
25, 30
every
years.
single
Yeah.
year.
25, 30
And
years.
then they
They've
might
been
lose
here.
Dan Quinn, but honestly, Dan Quinn was really bad in the second half of the season,
Yeah.
so I don't think that's necessarily that.
Yeah, I mean, this Cowboys defense just collapsed.
Yeah.
I mean, and then let's not talk about the offense, but
It's,
and this year felt different. This year felt like they had taken a step. I know their record was the same, but they won the division. It felt like they had taken a step. There were some games that down the stretch that reminded us that they're still the Cowboys. I mean, the Dolphins and Bills.
yeah.
But you thought, okay,
But then you get dismantled by
they have
Jordan
a 2
Love.
seed. They're gonna get some games at home, and they should probably make an NFC.
This was their This was their year
They
to
should,
win the Super
They should have
Bowl.
made an NFC championship at least.
They should have won a Super Bowl this year. That should have been
I
the
don't know
goal.
about that. I don't know about that. I mean,
Look,
it
the
is a
NFC
goal.
is low key kind of weak this
It
year.
is,
Very
but the Cowboys would not have gotten to the Niners.
I don't think they would have, but they had their best opportunity to. I don't think
They
that's
did.
even like a
Yeah.
debate
That's
or
not a
question.
bad. That's not a bad.
I think McCarthy should have been fired because this was your chance to kind of like leave your mark and go out and get a Super Bowl win, get a Super Bowl appearance in Dallas, especially with Dak having his best season, especially with CeeDee Lamb is now top 5 receiver in the league. The running game, you were able to mix it up with kind of like a few guys who all played pretty well except for Pollard. Pollard kind of underperformed for what he was supposed to be this year.
We'll just,
But still, I mean, good. Pollard, Rico Dowdle, both very, very solid running backs. Great defense. You had a leader in interceptions on your team, like
okay.
for the second straight year.
That's just I do think that is just due to their pass rush and
Yeah,
how
turnovers.
good Quinn and the
Turnovers,
Bulls
turnovers.
do it.
But
Regular season turnovers.
yeah,
Yeah,
still
Right. So do I blame McCarthy? Not really.
no.
Because one more thing was they've been 12-5 third straight year under McCarthy. They only have one win under him. It's really concerning not only that you lost first round, but then another NFC contender all of a sudden emerged like that, and all of a sudden it feels like
Yeah.
holy crap, the Packers are back, and now they're better than us, and they just cooked us at home.
Really freaking good.
But the Cowboys, it's every year we do this, we get this hype up, and then we have a good regular season, and then we fold in the playoffs. But we don't change, the Cowboys don't change anything during the offseason. They don't go out and get anyone. They don't get a big name in the draft. They just stay where they are. They stay where they are with the roster, with the coaching, with everything. So, no wonder they're going 12-5. They don't change anything from year to year.
Right.
And at least the Eagles try something. At least the Eagles try to change people, even though it fails sometimes. The Cowboys don't change anything. So if I'm their fans, I'm just like, what are you doing? Change something.
Yeah.
Change something. They gotta change something. I don't know what it is, but you can't do the same thing. You can't reload and just go again because the same thing's gonna happen next year and next year and the year after that.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna waste away the careers of Dak like you have been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just get straight into these games. Divisional round picks. First game, Chiefs, Bills. We're in Buffalo. Killian. Here you go.
You know, this is a tough one, but let's go Buffalo. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
Look,
Give me Buffalo.
Buffalo Bulls.
I'm not saying the NFL is scripted, but let's be honest.
The NFL
Is there nothing more that the NFL wants than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce into that confetti? Be honest. Look, Mahomes is going to find a way. This is Mahomes' best
Mahomes.
defense.
Mahomes.
Mahomes!
Mahomes. and
It's looking a little Mahomey there in Buffalo. Look, Josh Allen has not been able to win these big playoff games yet in his
He
career.
can wake
Yeah.
up and his
But
game
no, but he's
starts
playing
so
really well.
He's
slow.
playing really well right
He's
now.
played so well in these games. I mean, his numbers against the Chiefs, his QBR is like.
Numbers against the Chiefs
Are
are good, but then
fantastic.
they lose to the Chiefs.
Okay, but think about like last year. They were up 3 with 13 seconds left. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? You're up 3 with 13
It's going to be a
seconds
great game.
at the 25, and the Chiefs score a field goal, get the ball back, score a touchdown.
Chiefs always find a way to beat the Bills. That's just how it is. They always do.
They've always been at home.
Yeah.
They've always been okay. Fine.
They haven't had Joe Brady as coordinator. Joe Brady's come in and they.
Yeah, Joe
that's
Brady's
a
good.
point.
Shout out Panthers legend Joe
How
Brady.
will Mahomes do on the road in the playoffs?
You thought it was.
He was terrible in the Panthers.
Who do you have?
He had Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore. He couldn't do anything with that.
All right. Well, he's doing something in Buffalo.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
All right. So you pick the Chiefs.
My pick is the Chiefs.
Okay. Next.
Texans at Ravens. M&T Stadium.
This is a really tough one, and I could easily see this going either way. Ravens and specifically Lamar have really struggled in the playoffs. Throwback to the Titans beating them the last time they were.
Lamar is 1-4 in the playoffs.
But
His career.
I do think the Ravens will pull this one out. It's going to be a close game, but that Ravens defense is incredible,
Yes.
especially against the pass. And I think they are going to shut down that prolific Texans passing game. So yeah, I think the Ravens, due to their defense anchored by the two linebackers, Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen.
Yep. Ravens are going to win this one. I think it'll be close though. I think it'll shock a lot of people. I just don't know how Stroud is going to handle the Ravens defense.
All I'm saying is one of these teams is a top 5 quarterback and the other one doesn't. The Texans, CJ Stroud is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. He absolutely dismantled the Browns
We
last
have the
year.
biggest
who
Lamar
were the
Jackson
number one.
hater over
I'm
here.
not a Lamar Jackson hater. Look, Lamar, there's way too much pressure on Lamar to win a championship right now. Obviously, this is his best team by far.
It's true. There is a lot of pressure.
Think about his
And it's getting to him because he's talked about it multiple
Yeah,
times.
no.
If I'm CJ Stroud and the Texans, there is no pressure to win. None at all. You got a huge win last week. CJ Stroud has been hot since like week 1.
Yes, but
Week 1.
I mean the Ravens only have to put up like 20.
And guess who?
24
Marlon
points.
Humphrey's not playing. Their starting quarterback is not playing.
John Hamilton, still there. Everyone
Kyle
else?
Hamilton is still there, but that's still your best cornerback. Is not, or is it?
Safety. I think he plays safety.
It's not Marlon Humphrey he's missing.
I
Who's
don't
their
know,
corner?
this
that's missing?
Ravens is, even if the defense isn't full strength,
The defense.
their offense is gonna be, their offense is fully back and healthy. They have Mark Andrews, Dalvin Cook.
Mark Andrews is not confirmed to be playing.
He's practiced
He's
healthy
questionable.
yesterday. He practiced full yesterday.
Yeah, he practiced full yesterday, but their coach came out and said it's still on the table if he's gonna play or not.
I believe Mark Andrews will play.
I don't think he makes much of a difference either, if I'm being honest.
Mark Andrews.
No,
I-
Marlon Humphrey's
that-
out.
that's-
Marlon Humphrey's not playing.
That's a little crazy.
No, he's not.
Mark Andrews is
Likely
not.
played better. Likely played better.
Yes, no,
than Mark
likely,
Andrews.
but
Because he's in the Ravens offense.
yeah,
He's a tight
Lamar
end.
makes their offense look good no matter who they have.
They use the running game to set up the short
Mhm.
pass, and the tight ends are basically an extension of the running game. So, the Ravens play complementary football. Again, that's why I think they're going to win. They're going to slow the game down. They're going to run the ball, and the defense. I think they should suffocate Texans.
if the Browns defense didn't stop him, then who is? It's certainly not the Ravens.
Ravens are the best.
Texans by double digits.
All right.
We can clip that.
Texans by
Next week.
10.
With that.
We'll
Texans
come
by
back
10.
to that one.
Bucks lines.
And CJ Stroud will cement himself as the 5th best quarterback in this NFL, in the NFL after this.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happens on when do they play, Saturday or something?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
It's
Oh.
tomorrow afternoon, I'm pretty sure. 3:15.
Whatever.
Yeah, because this game's on Saturday and Sunday. Is
What-
there a game today?
No.
No.
I mean, whatever he does, he's had an incredible year, and he's silenced a lot of doubters. I mean,
Bucks at Lions is our next one.
yeah, I got the Lions.
Yep.
Because it's the Bucks. That's kind of all I have to say.
Yep.
They're not gonna beat the Bucks.
Lions.
It's the Bucks. Like they're not gonna do anything. They beat Eagles, but I think my high school football team could beat the Eagles. So
Indy is not beating the Eagles. The Eagles are not beating the Eagles.
LSU could beat the Eagles. So
Bucks, Lions. I really want to pick Baker. I really want to pick Baker in this game, but I don't know. They looked really good. They looked really good in their
We were
win.
awful. I mean, we were terrible. The Giants looked really good.
The Lions looked really good in their win, and so did the Bucks. But the Bucks were playing at home. But how much of an advantage is Raymond James? Not
Do
really.
you know?
that much.
Did you see who they were playing?
They played a really bad team.
Yes.
They played a really bad team.
I mean, the Panthers probably could beat the Eagles.
Panthers don't speak Packers in New Year's Eve. Yeah, I'll take the Lions here. It's hard to pick against the Lions when they've got this much momentum behind them and they're playing at home.
One thing I will say is that the Lions might let their guard down because they already have that home playoff.
It's gonna be a close.
These are
No, I don't know. I don't know if
We
Dan
have-
Campbell's gonna let them get their
Dan
guard
Campbell's
down.
not, but I mean,
Dan Campbell.
the
will.
monkey's off their back.
so far we've talked about
They got their
3
playoff.
very exciting playoff games.
Yeah.
3 very close playoff games too.
And then our last one, we've got Packers Niners.
Walk out of them all.
Oh my god.
I have the Niners, but the key to this game is looking back to that Ravens matchup. The Ravens are, I mean, I don't know. We could dissect every Niners loss, but the Ravens are the only team that has shut down Purdy since I've seen him start.
Absolutely shut down Purdy.
And that is because they took away his first read. And the Ravens might be the only roster in the NFL that can do that. That can take away Purdy's first read, make him sit back there and read the defense.
Yeah.
And the Ravens have the best defense in the NFL, so I don't really blame Brock Purdy. But they took away his first read and they destroyed him.
Yeah.
They demolished him. If the Packers defense can do that, that's a very tall task. They're going to win this game.
Packers to me are just a little bit too young.
Right. I don't think
Just a
I think the 49ers will win this game, but it's going to come down to how is that Packers defense going to stop Purdy from just hitting his first read wide open.
There's nothing more that I would like to see though than Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, and CJ Stroud win a playoff game. There's nothing more I want to see than
You've
that.
already seen it all. You've already seen it.
I want to see them win a divisional playoff game. I want to see them win a big game. Imagine a Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield NFC Championship. Nightmare for Roger Goodell, but like really entertaining for us.
Yeah.
Hey,
But 49ers to get it.
49ers?
You know, the script writers, I was on the phone with the script writers this morning, and they told me that Jordan Love and the Packers are getting it done in this game.
See, how's the Texans
Watch out.
take crazy, but this is not.
Watch
How's
out.
the Texans take crazy, this is not.
You watch out. Packers
The
are
Packers are a
going
wild
to
card.
upset the world. Upset the 49ers.
7th seed.
Yep.
Packers just-
Shout out Roger Goodell, he cooked with the 7th seed thing. The 7th seed edition was fire.
Packers shut
Extra long wild card weekend, super wild card weekend. Like the games weren't good this year, but like last year they were.
Packers shut down the Cowboys offense,
They did.
and the Packers were absolutely rolling against the really good Cowboys defense.
True.
Can
True.
Is that more on Dallas folding in the playoffs, or is that more on Packers?
That's Dallas.
Like I
That's just
said,
classic.
like,
That's classic Dallas.
Like I said,
That's classic
I'm leaning
Dallas.
towards classic
I-
Dallas.
I have no
And the
right.
Dallas almost came back, like
Dallas
kind
did
of.
come back. I mean, they save face.
They're the youngest team in the NFL. It's cool that they're here. I don't think it's
Niners are.
Like I said, I have no rhyme or reason for the pick. I just have a
Yeah.
strong gut
It's
feeling
just
that
Jordan
the
Love
Packers are
somehow
going to win this
tosses
game.
3 touchdowns
Yep.
every single game since like that Raiders game.
Yes, he does. But the Niners are on a mission. I think they're hungry.
Yeah, Niners.
They're ready to go.
Get CMC a Super Bowl for me,
We will see.
please.
We will
All right, our take a stand segment. It's a good one. Early in the playoffs, we have the
Oh, it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Who will win?
who's our Super Bowl pick. I like putting it here because we've seen every team that's left play.
Mhm.
I know Ravens and Niners. We haven't seen them in the playoffs, but we know what the Ravens
We-
and Niners are.
We've seen them play
These
head-to-head
eight,
not
these
so
8
long
teams,
ago.
we know who they are. And I like doing it after wildcard weekend because wildcard weekend there's just so much happening.
True.
And these are some big boy games, and now you're actually every team's playing a contender. There's no cupcakes. Even with Niners Packers, you have no idea what the Packers can do. You saw what they did last week; they just knocked off a contender. Lions Bucks, I can say the same about the Bucks. So yeah, who will win the Super Bowl? Y'all want me to start? I'll start.
Yeah, you can.
Yep, go.
My pick is going to be Bills. They are rolling right now. I think they've won 6 straight. Playing at home against the Chiefs, and then I really don't trust the Ravens in the AFC Championship. I don't trust the Ravens in the playoffs. I think the Ravens will make it through this week, but I just don't see them beating the Bills at home. And then Bills Niners in the Super Bowl. And again, I could go either way. I just like the Bills more because the Bills are hot. So my pick,
Colin.
Buffalo.
I mean, I pretty much agree word for word with your AFC take. I see the Bills winning the AFC. If Lamar and the Ravens do get to past the Texans and to the AFC Championship, as much as it hurts me to say, being a Lamar Jackson fan, they're just not. I don't see them beating the Bills, and that really hurts me. And I think they will see a lot of kind of changes over the offseason because of that. And I would put Lamar at 2-5 in the playoffs in his career, which is unacceptable, to be honest. But it hurts me to say that, but I believe the Bills will make it on the AFC side. NFC side, it's a toss-up, but I am in agreement with Killian on this one. I believe the Bills have what it takes to win the championship if Josh Allen can actually wake up and play 4 quarters of good football.
True.
So Bills.
Yeah.
Look,
Buffalo Bills.
as much as you guys can't trust the Ravens, I can't trust the Bills, and I will not trust Josh Allen.
Well,
to win
trust
the Super Bowl. I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl. If I'm being
Ever?
100% honest.
All comes down to
I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl. The guy who always pulls it out is Mahomes.
Well,
I mean, how many kids he had? Brittany. Anyways,
it's a little Mahomes.
look, the Chiefs are gonna win this week, and they'll beat the Texans to go to the Super Bowl. I think the 49ers will win the NFC in,
Chiefs Niners
in close
rematch.
fashion. I think we're gonna have a Chiefs-Niners rematch.
Do you think?
Give me the 49ers.
Oh, I put Mahomes.
And then the 49ers will dominate Mahomes in that game. I think we're going to see a very similar game to like the Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl in that sense. But if I'm being honest, there's no reason as to why the Texans shouldn't beat the Ravens and that CJ Stroud should lose to Mahomes at Arrowhead.
All right.
Or is it or would it be at NRG?
It'd be that Arrowhead. Because Texans
Did they win the division?
are 4.
Yeah, they're Chiefs are 3.
Yeah, Chiefs.
And yeah, CJ Stroud as much as I'd like to see him in the Super Bowl, honestly. And that sounds crazy, obviously, because the Panthers had a chance to pick him this year. But, like, I'd love to see him in the Super Bowl. But I just don't think he's going to happen.
That would be pretty funny.
But the 49ers are the safe pick.
It would be funny.
Yeah.
But they're the safe pick for
For a reason.
ring 'em.
Because yeah,
You don't.
They had so many Pro Bowlers, like a record amount of Pro Bowlers. Every single guy in
it's
the
just
class
it's
is a Pro
unfortunate.
Bowl level player.
It's unfortunate that they had to match up with the Packers because, like I said, at the end of the day, I just don't see them getting past the Packers.
Packers, and they haven't
That's
played
it.
in a week. The Packers are hot.
Yeah.
Let's see
Packers
if
are
I
hot.
hold the
Think-
best record in
I
NFL
know.
picks.
Think of what's happened in other sports. Think of what the Phillies just did to the Braves 2 years in a row.
True.
Braves had a-
True.
I know it's football, but
I see the Braves more comparable to the Bills though. Huge fan base behind them. Electric first player.
Braves are
Acuna.
Braves are like the Cowboys.
No. Because they won.
Actually, in regular season, I know they won the World Series.
Acuna, Josh Allen,
Acuna.
big player. What do you mean, Acuna? Is that
All
what
right,
I
all
say?
All right, so Terry Saints segment. Colin and I are picking the Bills, and Russell's taking the Niners.
This will be a fun week to revisit.
This is gonna be a
will
fun
be a
week.
fun week to revisit.
I can't wait till I'm right.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna post the pics on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes. So go ahead on over there. Longer episode this week, but
To the Wire
It was fun.
Sports. We had to come back with a long episode. There was a lot to cover.
We did.
Appreciate you guys. Go follow us on Instagram. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the stream. Push it out. Share it. Do whatever.
So we can get Will Levis.
So we can get Will Levis.
I agree. We got to get Mayo Man on here. All right.
Will Levis.